Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Facebook, TikTok. You're not doing it with me. You wasn't doing it the second round.
It's like the Pokemon rap.
I guess. All right, let's try this again.
TikTok, Facebook.
So, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Discord.
Follow us at Lamont N Leah.
I'm Lamont, and I love social media.
And I'm Leah. I'm pretty good at social media, but how the heck does Twitter work?
Right. And you're tuning into
the Lamont N Leah podcast.
So, September is also Self-Improvement Month. And some of the things that stuck out to me was September 27th, Ancestor Appreciation Day.
Nice.
September 29th, National Starbucks Day. September 30, National Love People Day. October 1st, Filipino American History Month. And October 3rd, National Unity Day. So today on the Lamont N Leah podcast, we're talking about social media. We're going to talk about how the tendency that we have in comparing ourselves and potential steps that we can take if we're ready to stop comparing ourselves. Are you ready?
Wait, who's our guest?
No guest, just you and I.
Awesome. Let's do this.
What do you love about social media?
Actually, Lamont, I'm glad you asked. No. So I think like last year sometime we had got invited to talk about social media on a different podcast, but due to some circumstances, we never went. So I actually had a list for the longest time of like all the things I was going to say on that podcast. And one of them was why I love social media so much. And what I was going to say, and I actually deleted that note like a long time ago. So this is all off the top of my head. I was like, I don't need this, delete. Was that like, I think social media allows you to connect with people. And I think we really saw that during all the like shutdowns during the pandemic is like a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people were able to stay connected with their loved ones in even like in little ways, even if it was like sending TikToks to each other or like just chatting or video chatting like this, playing games with their friends. I love how like much you can stay connected with people even when you're not with them. I think that is like one of the benefits, because like imagine even like in the 90s, right? If someone lost contact with someone from like middle school, high school, college, there was a good possibility that they wouldn't ever be able to talk to them again unless things lined up perfectly. Or like if you had like a long lost friend, you'd have to like go search through like phone books and like find their cousin and be like, hey, where's so and so, and blah 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 blah. Nowadays you can most likely type their name into the search bar and you'll find something about them, even if it's like a very very old profile. And usually from there you can backward search. I'm revealing how much of a stalker I am here, but so like I really enjoy how connected you can stay with people, or
Absolutely.
you can stalk people.
Absolutely. Stalking, maybe not so much. But
That was a joke. Don't stalk people. That's rude.
yes. Leia's the next you. Anyways, I'm watching that currently. So I love social media because it does help us stay connected. some people like there's people I've known from high school that I really don't talk to, but then I see their lives and I'm like, oh, that's great. I love that that's working out for them, or this is happening for them, or this is happening. And just seeing it and knowing like good things are happening in their life, it makes me feel good. And I love social media for that reason. A lot, well, I think I'm jumping the gun, so let's not do that. So social media, like it's just a part of my life. Like it is so a part of my life. Some people don't enjoy it at all, or enjoying it minimally. Like my partner, he's a minimalist. Like he's like, ah, like I'll go on it when I'm bored, have downtime. But other than that, like I'm not liking anything. I'm not, I'm not like posting about my life. I'm not posting about me. Like very minimal. Like so, there's no wrong way to engage in social media. Um, Unless maybe it's taking over your life and then it's a little unhealthy, and so then we need to develop a balance, but we'll talk more about that later.
I also like how much you can share ideas with others, especially on places like Pinterest, Tumblr, stuff like that. I like seeing other people's creativity, and I think that plays into what people hate about social media is I think a lot of people don't like how much people share about the things they're doing. Um but yeah, I like how creative people can be, and they're just like, hey, look at this thing I made, and you can be like, awesome, that's a great idea, like I want to try that, or like, congrats, that's so cool for you. But I think that can also have its drawbacks, because there are people who literally share every second of their lives. And I know that, I wanted to be a YouTuber at one point. So like I was blogging all the time. And I feel like there was a lot of things I was doing specifically just for those videos. And trust me, I only wanted to be a blogger for like a few months. I gave up. That was hard. But there was a lot of things that I was doing just so that I could film it. Or I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna be doing this today. Let me make sure that I look better than I would. Let me make sure that I have my camera out at all times and it's charged and everything. And instead of focusing on the event or whatever I was going to, I was just like focused on making sure I got like a good angle and captured this and captured that. So that's one of the things I dislike about social media.
Yeah. I hate the social media trap. I call it the social media trap, where like maybe you're going on your phone to check one thing, but then like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour later, you're
That's
like,
literally me this morning.
crap.
Yeah.
I'm like been on social media this whole time. I only came on to check this one thing.
That was me this morning.
So that can be frustrating. Absolutely.
I don't know how to word this, so I'm just gonna speak through it and see if I can formulate it while I'm talking. I don't like kids.
What do you mean?
Okay, so kids on social media, right? Like, we grew up when we were pretty young, social media started. So even
Right.
though we didn't have social media when we were like little, we had it when we were pretty young. It was when
Yeah,
like
Facebook.
Facebook, not Facebook,
MySpace.
MySpace had like popped up, right? And at that time, I guess I wouldn't have really thought about this because I was the young person in question. But there are a lot of little kids. I'm not talking about like teenagers that have like their own thoughts and ideas, but there are a lot of tiny baby children's on social media who
On
have
what?
like TikTok and like Facebook. Their parents make them
Okay.
Facebooks and stuff. And
Okay.
like, and I they'll be posting and they'll be absorbing all these things, and it just makes me kind of uncomfortable because there's a lot of content that children should not be seeing. But then I guess that also is just kind of like, I've heard people say like, oh well, children are people too, they need to be able to formulate their own ideas. But it's like, at what point does that become an issue? Because like, yeah, I want them to form their own ideas, but like, is them watching all these videos and reading posts about like sexual content, at what point is that not, a thing that should be happening? But then people would argue like, oh, well, they need to know how that kind of stuff works and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, cool. Yeah, we can teach them about, what is sex, how babies are made, the fact that there are different types of sexualities, but like maybe we shouldn't be talking about kinks in front of them, like, so I think that would be
Agreed.
so that would be my thing that I dislike is children on social media. It gets really confusing because if you censor that, then it becomes a whole issue on like freedom of speech and, censoring and controlling and all that jazz. And there's so many ways around it. Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, you can't be younger than 13 to be on this app. But like, I lied when I signed up for all these things when I was little too. Like, I had a Facebook when I was about 13 or something, and I think at that time you had to be 15 or 16 to have one. Not Facebook, a MySpace.
Okay.
Or something like that. I know that I lied. And my age was not correct on there.
Interesting. That is interesting. Like, I do have opinions on this. My opinion is that parents should be monitoring their children, know what their children are doing, have conversation about why this is healthy, why this is unhealthy. Don't restrict them when they become of age unless maybe they're immature and like they just need some time to like grow, or you start having some conversations on like, okay, I'm gonna let you on, but you are gonna be monitored, and this is why. Like, not to control you, not to like make you think or believe a certain way, but this stuff I don't want you absorbing this stuff without you having a backbone or a healthy understanding on what's happening or what's going on. So I think parents do need to be monitoring their children on social media in a loving way, not a controlling way, but a loving way. So that can be tricky too, because each child's different, right?
Yeah.
Some children are more mature, actually. So Leah was over my house last night because they threw me a surprise party, and my mom had said something along the lines of, Lamont's always been older than like his age. So I do feel like I was a very mature child, but not all children are mature. Right. And even though you might be a mature child, like there was this person I dated who was very mature, but like certain things would happen and then you would see his age, you would see his immaturity. And definitely I'm pretty sure that happened with me, like, so watch your children. Watch your children. So, Leia, there's this phenomenon that I don't struggle with that many of my friends have talked to me about and struggle with. And they compare themselves to people online. It could be their peers, and it could be people that they don't know, it could be famous people, where they're just posting all these like highlighted moments and they're jealous or they feel inadequate or it brings them down or it changes their mood. Like, man, like I need to get my life together. I don't have this. This person has this. How did that person get this? And it's a thing. I don't know. Like, my social media has always been about uplifting others, and seeing the good in others. So like when I see things, like I'm like, oh, that's great. Like, yeah, I don't feel that jealousy. I don't feel that like, oh man, like I need a nicer car, or I need my own house, or I think maybe the only thing I did do was like, all my friends are married and I'm not. Well, now I'm married. But like other than that, like it would be a little sad, but like not so like devastating. And some of these things really devastate some of the people I know in my life. So what is it about our human experiences that makes us want to compare ourselves with others?
That's a great question. I think you got this from something that I had told you, actually. I don't know if you remember, but hold on. Little story time. So there is this person. I'm not going to give too many details because if any of my friends listen to this, they'll know who I'm talking about. So, not to give too many details, but there's this person that I went to school with. And they were in the same, I guess I'm going to give it away, college. They were in the same course that I was, right? We took a lot of the same classes. We were in a lot of the same classes, either together or, you know, whatever. Same course, same everything. I think we even graduated like the same year. And at first we were friends. We used to hang out a lot and we used to bounce ideas off of each other and we would help each other with projects and everything. But post-graduation, there was a lot of like, it kind of was like radio silence on both ends. I didn't really reach out either, so can't really blame that on anyone. But they started to post about all the things that they were doing, right? And they're just like, oh, I just went on this trip and I filmed this project. Oh, it was so great working on this project with this person who might be semi-popular or this person who might be like an actual celebrity. And it kept going on and on and on to the point where I actually unfollowed them on almost everything because I could not stand reading another post. So I guess, yeah, I would say that I'm extremely jealous of this person, and mostly because we had the same course. So like, why am I not experiencing those same exact things? And I think that's what a lot of people usually feel when they see people who are posting. Like, you're great. Like, you're a good person. You wouldn't even think of that. You're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you. But when I see people who I graduated with having like ultimate successes and things that I want for myself and I'm not there, it just starts me questioning kind of like, well, how come I'm not doing that? We are very similar in certain ways. So like, why not me? And I guess like something when I was thinking about this exact story, it made me realize that while we were like in the same college courses, we have very, very different lives, like extremely different outside of these college courses. Like I have a big family, but like not a huge family, right? And most of my family is not well off. Like we're not poor, but we're not well off. We have enough money to survive on. And that is the case for almost my whole entire family and extended family. Whereas this person, their family is well off. Like they have money. They have a huge family, and this family gets together all the time. They have all these different parties and they all support each other. They're constantly posting about this one person's like fundraiser for this one thing, and everyone comments and goes, oh yeah, I'll participate, here's $20 for your fundraiser. Whereas on my side, you don't see that. That doesn't happen because no one has that sort of like money to give. And so they I almost said their name. So they would post about a project like, hey, I'm working on this film project, and there would just be a flooding of family members going, hey, so proud of you, here's my support. Whereas I post about that, there's not too many people who are going to do that because it's not available. So while we did the same course, we don't have the same life. Like it's not the same. So of course, in the end, or I would say as of right now, we have two very different paths. And so reading these things that this person is doing, it's gonna make me jealous because I wish I had that, but I just don't. And there's nothing I can do about that particular situation. And so the comparison is there, but if I put more thought into it, it can't really be compared because we only have one thing in common, and that is that we went to college together.
Okay, all right.
So I think a lot of people go through that, you know, like they'll see these people who The one I like the best is when people are looking at celebrities who are their same age, and they're just like, how come I don't have this or that career or this item or this house or this boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, whatever? I'm the same exact age as them, not realizing that you have two absolutely opposite lives.
Right. Where they might have connections, they also are putting in the work. I remember wanting to be famous and an entertainer growing up. Definitely did not have access to that. My mom didn't know what to do or how to get those resources for me.
Yeah.
Put me in classes that she could afford so I can like better my voice, better my acting skills, whatever. Like just didn't have access to those. Where other kids' parents might have had access to those tools or someone got them access. And then not only did they get them the access, but then they put in the work. And they were able to show up to gigs and travel and put in that work. If you're not willing to do that, or if you don't have the access to that, that is just what it is. You don't have the access. Or
Yeah.
if you're not willing to put in the work as someone else. So you can't compare yourself to that person. So does that mean like if I am putting in the work or I do have the access and then like someone makes success and I don't, I start comparing myself? I think that's a slightly different story. But then again, there's probably something else there that you're missing. And it could be talent or not talent. Hopefully that's not the case. But yeah, like there's different there are different lives and stuff. And so go ahead.
I was just gonna say about putting in the work. I hear that a lot. Like, oh, I've been working X amount of years and I don't have anything to show in comparison to this person who hasn't been working nearly as long as me. I almost think it's not fair to compare how much work someone's putting in because, like I said, we all have very different lives, and like you said, we all have very different opportunities presented to us. I don't think people realize just how many celebrities have connections already. Like, there are so many people who are distant, even distant relatives of another celebrity, and that just presents different opportunities than just some random person in the middle of whatever city, you know? Ariana Grande.
Okay.
Everyone says, oh, Ariana Grande, she was discovered on YouTube and blah, 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 blah. She's rich. She's always been rich. So that is a different opportunity that she had from the get-go versus a lot of other people who are trying to start, you know, up their singing careers. There's a lot of people who started on YouTube but have varying degrees of success. I think a great comparison would be, oh, what is his name? Well, I can just give one. Gabe Bondoc. Not many people know who that is.
Yeah,
Unless you know who he is, you don't know who he is. Like, but he also started on YouTube, was discovered, but he is not nearly as famous as Ariana Grande. But he's been on YouTube about as long, you know? The difference would be, I think, I mean, I can't say for sure, but I would say a huge difference would be monetary and financial availability. She has a rich family. So if she needed a class, if she needed an agent, if she needed to buy into whatever, I don't know all the details and specifics about her career. She could, probably, I'd assume.
Right. And not to mention, she is a talented person.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. She's also talented. So, like, she's had all these opportunities that someone like even Gabe Bondoc, who is extremely talented as well, like, his voice is perfect, he doesn't have in comparison. And, like, I'm probably going to get dragged if anyone listens to this portion of the podcast, but forgive me. That's just the example I could think of off the top of my head, but yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. So Ariana Grande has a rich family, and I think her brother was like a dancer before she even started her career and stuff. So
oh, and that actually plays into my story too that I was telling. this person has connections which I had no idea about previously. So they have family that is already involved in the film and production world. Small scale, but that's enough. All you need is a toe in the door, and if you're good, you're good. And that's not to say they're great. They're really good at what they do. That's why they're continuing to be successful. So all they needed was a toe.
Right.
Like, and in comparison to myself, I have zero connections. I'm trying to build these connections.
Yeah, so who you know matters. It really does.
Yeah.
But let's get back. Like, there is something in our nature,
Yeah, sorry.
in our human experience that makes us want to compare ourselves to other people. What is that?
I have no idea.
I honestly don't know either. I'm gonna do a quick Google search.
Okay. And I'll ramble while you do that. I think, like, I'd like to believe that people are dreamers, whether others want to believe that about themselves or not. But I feel like people want something nice for themselves. I think people are dreamers, and I think seeing things or seeing people or situations that they can identify with, but it's not what they see in their own lives, I feel like that can drive people to want to compare themselves to them. Like my friend, for example, I see similarities in ourselves, so I immediately am like, well, I want that. And yeah, so I just think people are dreamers. And so, of course, you're going to compare things when you see similarities.
All right, so I typed in, why do we compare ourselves to others? And a little paragraph popped up from wp.nyu.edu. Why do we compare ourselves to others? And here's a little snippet from it. It says, comparisons are a normal part of the human cognition and can be a good for the self-improvement process. When we compare ourselves to others, we get information about what we want and where we want to be, and we get valuable feedback on how we measure up. However, they can also cause us a lot of psychological pain. And that's where I get concerned and worried, is the psychological pain that happens from the comparison that we do in our lives.
Yeah, I can agree. I know there's been a few times where I've had to like log out of stuff because I'm like, I cannot read this. This is making me upset. Just seeing all these, again, people who are my age, people who I went to school with, having these different successes that I want for myself. And it causes a lot of jealousy. And jealousy is not good for your soul.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if that's scientific, but...
No, like when you say jealousy is not good for our soul, it's not, because it brings our mind to negative thinking and darkness, right? And when we engage in negative thinking and even in negative self-talk, that traps us into a place that we shouldn't be. It limits us, and we want to like bust through those limits and think of the possibilities and be proactive about those possibilities. So it's a cycle. Like, if we're engaging in negativity, like, it's okay to feel bad for something, but if we're just stuck there, that can be a really bad, not bad, that can be a not so good thing for the person.
Yeah.
So let's take a break. Let's come back and talk about how we can stop comparing ourselves to people on social media.
Or at least try to.
Or try to. Like, little practices that we can put in place.
Okay. All right, that sounds good.
Activity time. Activity time. It's activity time with Lamont and Leah. I'm just kidding. Okay.
I don't know if this is still a trend by the time this episode comes out, but have you heard of the teenage dirtbag trend going around?
I have not heard of the teenage dirtbag trend, and I feel like we're always behind the trend, so.
Okay, so do you know the song Teenage Dirtbag?
No, I do not know the song Teenage Dirtbag. Who sings
Okay,
it?
well, I can't really play it because of copyright, but I can sing it.
Okay.
It's by Wheatus. I don't know if
I don't know who Weed is.
Yeah, I don't think you know who Wheatus is.
I think you're making me feel old. I'm just
No,
not
it's
up with the time.
I think they're a 90s or 2000 early 2000s band, but you weren't really into like the rock scene, you know? So like you wouldn't know. It's okay.
Avril was it for me.
All right.
Isn't
Anyway.
she like rock pop?
Yeah. Okay. So it's a song that goes, I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby.
Oh, I know that song. I do know that song.
Okay. So we're on almost the same level. Let me finish the trend now. So what people are doing is the thing starts out with like a video or picture of them like now. And then once the chorus starts, it transitions into some pictures of like when they were teenagers and sometimes younger, sometimes a little older, of when they were going through their like dirtbag era. So like when they were being rowdy, and usually it was like started in like the punk rock and like rock scene. So it's a lot of people during their like scene phase, emo phase, punk phase, like stuff like that, right? But it's kind of like gone outside of the rock realm and gone into like just the normal like everyday person realm. So people are showing pictures of them when they were like younger and like maybe a little crazier or whatever.
Okay.
So today I thought we would make our own version of that, just for fun. Since we're talking about social media, I wanted to try and like log on to our MySpaces and stuff, but MySpace is like broken, even though they're back. Because, like, I logged in and, like, things weren't loading. So, I don't know. Maybe it's on my end. Maybe it's a whole thing. Maybe MySpace finally died again. But, today, Lamont, we're going to be going through some old photos. So that we can make our teenage dirtbag trend video, TikTok, reel, etc.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. So, I'm going to share my screen. I found a few photos, and I had asked you for a few photos, and you don't know what I'm doing, so it'll be great. She doesn't give a damn about me, 'cause I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. So I'm pretty sure Lamont had other photos, but unfortunately, we can't remember what any of the logins for stuff is.
Yeah, not photo bucket. Not high five. I probably could have got. I didn't even try high five.
Oh my god, high five. Oh my goodness. Is that a thing?
Hold on,
It exists still.
Let me see. Hold on.
There's no way my email still works for this. There's no... What would it have been? Were there any of those photos that you'd like to explain yourself, young man?
No. They're fine.
I want to bring to attention this one again.
Oh my gosh. So who is that? That's you, me. Is that Jonathan and
My brother and Justin. Justin, yeah.
I guess we're at a Pathfinder fair.
Yeah, we're so tiny. Oh my goodness, Lamont, the selfie, the mood, the vibe.
I thought I was so gorgeous back then. I think I just get like, I feel like the older I get, the more handsomer I get.
I like this photo. I think
that was actually RCC.
yeah.
I was going to a banquet, and so that must have been 2009.
Yeah.
I was going to like a banquet. You know, that's how you know I went to like SCA school.
Yeah.
We were going to like some like dinner or whatever, like Royal Casino, like, and they were putting on some event, and I went to it, and I had that hat and that vest, and Leia wanted to take a picture with me. So, is that the night you taught me how to roll my sleeves?
I think so.
I have been rolling my sleeves ever since.
Because we had been, I think you would ask me to help you, but I couldn't go to the mall with you or something. I used to straighten my hair all the time. Look at that. Oh my god. Damage. The damage. So now my turn. And then I'll go over some of my pictures too. Oh my gosh, I look like crap today and I'm going to be recording something. Why did I get online looking like this? She doesn't give a damn about me, 'cause I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. I'm just...
First of all, those ring pictures of your lips are totally fake. Your mom...
I know. Hold on. Let's talk about this image really quickly, because it's absolutely hilarious. Okay, so as you can see from this image below, or the side, I don't know where I'm going to put it when I'm editing, I was definitely wanting to be like a scene queen, like through and through. That's all I wanted at that time in my life.
Yeah, I'm getting Avril vibes.
So this is a completely fake image, right?
Yeah.
I did all of this for this photo. This was my transition from MySpace to Facebook. I believe this was my very first Facebook profile, and I was treating it very much like MySpace.
Well, that's all you've ever. That's like the reference that you had. So
Yeah.
you had
So I was like, I don't know what's going on here. I need a profile picture. Okay, this is it. Like, this is what you do. You make a photo collage. You take a bunch of doctored images. I love at the bottom, I'm like kissing myself and licking myself, and I'm like, ew. That is like my favorite thing. Like, I love this. But yeah, what Lamont said was true. These lip rings are completely fake.
Yeah, her mom would have killed her.
Oh yeah, like
dead,
definitely.
murdered.
She would have murdered me.
There would be the Lamont N Leah podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be deceased. But yes, so that is our teenage dirtbag trend. I will be posting these on our on our Instagram and probably our TikTok. So if you guys want to follow us, since we're talking about social media, just a reminder, all of our social media is in our description box. You can check those out. We are trying to get in the habit of posting on there more, but it is kind of hard because we already do all this, and then both of us run other stuff as well. So, but we're gonna get on it. Just follow us.
And we're back. So
That should be a sticker. And we're back. So.
All right. So let's talk about how we can try little practices that we can put in place to stop comparing ourselves to other people, especially on social media. So here's one. Realize that social media is not a reality. Right? Their success is not your failure. I'm going to say it again. Their success is not your failure. It's important to understand that when we're on social media, this is like an airbrush of someone's life. They are carefully
Photoshopping?
not photoshopping, curated, carefully
Curating.
curated.
Yeah.
Huh?
Curating.
Yeah, curate, yeah, images. So, you can see like how successful they are. Like we see lots of people by the poolside, but like they don't do that every day. They might do it every day,
Yeah,
but
a
in
few
reality,
people.
it's not an everyday thing. It was just one shot or several shots in one day, and they're releasing them like either at the time or sometime later. So Everyone experiences hardships, challenges in life, but those things don't usually make it onto social media. It's so easy to think that everyone has it together except you, but that's just the impression that it's given through these filtered, handpick snapshots or snippets.
Yeah. And a good example of that is when you take, like, say you're taking a group photo, right? You take like 3 or 4 of them because, you know, obviously there's going to be one where someone's eyes are closed, the other one where someone's not looking at the camera, right? You take a few and you usually delete the ones that don't look as good and you only post the nice ones. Like, everyone does that. That's not like a, you know, that's not like a only you sort of thing or an only this person sort of thing. Like, everyone's going to go through the photos and select which one looks better. It's the same thing with social media. Like, people aren't going to be posting the ugly photos, quote unquote, or like the photos of everyday. I mean, some people post everyday photos. That's fine. I know I do on my stories. I just be posting like the ugliest photos of myself. But even those, like, sometimes I retake them because I'm like, okay, that's a little too ugly to be posting online, you know? And when you think of like celebrities or people who are trying to work on becoming some type of celebrity, there are a lot of things that you have to think about how they're going to be perceived by others. So there is a lot of photoshopping and airbrushing and cutting and pasting because celebrities and influencers, their image is their brand. Mm-hmm. So it's one thing if I'm like a company, right? If I'm Starbucks, my brand is my logo and my colors and a cup of coffee. Those are my brands, right? I'm going to edit them and make them beautiful. Like the most beautiful cup of coffee you've seen, I will be posting. But celebrities and like what are they called, influencers, their image is their brand. So of course they're going to take a photo and be like, that doesn't look right, let me change that, let me fix that, because the way I look is how I make my money or how I make whatever thing they're trying to do there. So I think that's a good thing to also keep in mind. Like when you're looking at things and you're like, wow, this person travels so much and they post pictures of themselves poolside. They're so beautiful and look how perfect this is and that is. I can guarantee you they took like 50 photos and that was the one that looked good.
Right. The 1 or 5 that made it onto social media.
Exactly. Yeah. So I just got to keep that in mind. What else, Lamont?
So 2, make social media sociable, right? The way we use or the way you use social media can have a big impact on how it makes you feel. One study showed that mindless scrolling through media induces depression and anxiety in adolescents, whereas contributing and sharing and having mutual interactions and interests has the opposite effect. So try getting involved by sharing pictures or commenting on things that interest you. Remember, social media was created for you to be social on, not just to sit back and watch. So make social media sociable.
That doesn't mean starting arguments. That was pointed out at a particular person. Getting involved with things, even if it's just like liking something, that really like, yeah, that's good. It's social media. You're supposed to be sociable. Sociable.
Yeah, sociable.
All right, what else?
3, curate your feed. Question. Are there certain people on social media that make you feel bad when you see them on your feed?
Yes, that person that I told my story about. And I unfollowed them a long time ago.
So, if you're hearing this and your answer is yes, unfollow them. Don't worry about potentially upsetting them. Your mental health should always come first. Mm-hmm. Instead of following people that make you feel inadequate, anxious, or depressed, fill your feed with people or animals who introduce positive feelings. I know that's one reason why I try to have such a uplifting social media because I want people who need that in their life. Like if they're having a bad day, they see something I post, like, you know what? It's not as bad as I was thinking. Like that's a win for me. And I follow people like that. And I definitely want to be that for people. So there are people out there who are like that for you. Follow those people. And not people that make you question or doubt yourself or make you feel inadequate.
Exactly. Um, yeah, and like a lot of people don't want to unfollow because they're like, oh, they're gonna notice. I can guarantee you they will not notice.
Uh, for the most part, they may not notice. Sometimes I notice, like a friend, I'm like, why did that friend stop following me? But
There's a lot of people who have unfollowed me. Rude. No, I'm just kidding. Who, yeah, like a few years later, I'll be on there and be like, whatever happened to so and so? And then I go and look, and they're no longer following me, and it's like, fine. That's, I mean,
yeah, it's
whatever.
their choice. Yeah, like, and they made it for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, there might have been something, and like, while I don't want to be the reason why people are upset, not every single person is going to agree with the things that I post or like the things I post. So, I mean, yeah, follower count can be important if you're trying to do something in particular. Like for me, I'm trying to get 1,000 followers on TikTok so I can go live, but like it's not that big of a deal. So like, yeah, those people haven't followed me and that's okay. Like a few of them I can kind of figure out why they unfollowed me, and that's also okay. We're gonna have different opinions, and they shouldn't need to be disturbed when they're trying to be on their social media. And I tell that to a lot of people who are just like, oh man, I hate this and I hate this thing on Facebook and I hate this thing on Instagram, I don't want one, blah 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 blah. And I try to remind them, like, you're the one who chooses what's on your feed. So if you're upset all the time because someone is posting about whatever, don't interact with them, or don't follow or unfollow them. Go and follow things that make you happy. So a lot of my social media is animals, and it is like things about nature and conservation and stuff, because those are the things, and like Hawaiian stuff, and those are the things that I'm interested in. Those are the things I want to keep up with because it's my social media and that's what I'm interested in. So if you ever scroll on my page, it's rare that you're ever going to see anything about politics. Maybe once or twice. You're never going to see things about politics. It makes me anxious. You're never going to see things about, like, and no offense to the people who live in New York and San Francisco, but I can't stand either of those places. They make me anxious. And so you will not see that on my page. I don't follow anyone from those two places. Because I don't want to hear about it.
I feel you.
Does that make me a little closed-minded? I don't know, but I'm trying not to be anxious every time I'm on Facebook.
Right. And again, your mental health comes first.
Exactly.
All right.
What else, Lamont?
So, are you ready for this one? This one's a little harder.
Uh-oh.
For some people, even probably for me and you.
Okay.
Confront the comparison.
Absolutely not. No, I'm just kidding.
If you are feeling ready to do some introspective work, ask yourself why seeing a particular person on social media makes you feel so bad. Perhaps they stir up thoughts that you're not doing what you want in life, or what you're not feeling very secure in yourself in general. This reflection allows you to work on yourself and make positive changes in your life. The kind of work can be challenging, so don't hesitate to reach out to a therapist if you need support, or for other people's opinions on like how I can improve if you want to do the work on your own. But yeah, so confront the comparison. Think, what is it about this post, about this person, about what I'm seeing, this interaction, that makes me feel not good? And then really dig in. Don't shy away from the feeling, but dig in. and be like, okay, this is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I did with that person. Like, because they're friends with other friends from college, obviously. And so someone had posted about them, and I was very upset. And I was like, okay, hold on. Why? What are we doing? And that's when I discovered that, like, the whole story I told you is why. Like, I keep thinking, like, how come we're not on the same level? So that's something I'm working on. Still just thinking about them makes me little upset. Just a little upset. But that's a me thing. That's not a them thing.
Yeah.
It's not their responsibility. It's all mine. So I think there's a lot of people who struggle with that idea. You know, with they think about comparison and they get too caught up in the comparison to think about the why and what they could be doing to work on that, you know?
As I said many times on this podcast, get curious. Be in a curious mindset. All right, the last thing I have for you guys is reduce the time you spend on social media.
Again, absolutely not.
Same for me. Same. Like, I love my time on social media. But remember, I was saying, like, a lot of the friends that I have that say they struggle with comparison, they've actually taken this step. Instead of maybe doing some of the first steps I talked about, they go right to this one, and that's okay. That's okay. But they reduce their time on social media. They might stay off of it for some time, and they hop back on, and then they hop back off. I've seen this trend happen over the years now. If you're developing an unhealthy relationship with social media, it's important to understand that's not your fault. Social media apps like Instagram, Facebook were literally built to be addictive and drive comparison.
Yeah.
So sometimes the best way you can shield yourself from potential damaging mental health effects of social media is to use less of it or stop using it altogether. Nobody is forcing you to be on social media. And your real friends will connect with you in other ways. Phone, texting, calls, in person. There's lots of different ways to connect. I promise it'll be okay if you decide to use social media less or cut it out completely. In fact, your well-being is likely much better for it if you choose this route. And one of the people that are closest to me, I know they're doing so much better in school, and they're just focused driving their life, finishing their nursing program, and they're just rocking it, you know?
Yeah, social media detox. That's I mean, I suggest people do it every so often. It definitely can be an addicting thing to just continuously scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. That's why they have those annoying ass TikTok videos that's like, stop, you've been scrolling, shut up. But also, you right. But also,
and like sometimes I want to like just spite them, like, you're not telling me what to do. But then it's like, wait, what are they saying? What is this important? And sometimes it is something important. Like, oh, that was really great, actually.
Yeah,
I hate that stop. Like, you will never catch me doing a stop.
Me and that guy about to fight. like every single time, I'm just like, I'll punch my phone. But yeah, definitely, it can be. It can become addictive. It's like little tiny hits of, what is it, serotonin or dopamine, whichever one of those. It's like little tiny ones every single time, you know? And it is good to take a step back. So there are times where I'm just like, you know what? I'm just like not going to go on my phone like today or for the afternoon, or like, I do that with my computer where I make a decision like, you know what? I'm not getting on my computer today. I don't want to work on the computer. I don't want to be on the computer. We're just going to go do anything else that is not the computer. I think, was it in 2020 or early 2021? I didn't delete my Facebook, but I didn't get on Facebook for like 6 months.
Oh, wow.
I was just, like, not interested. I don't care. Even people who don't post about stuff that I don't like are now posting about it. It was like, I think it was like, it must have been 2020, like right before the election and during the shutdown and everything. Every single person was posting about it, and I just couldn't handle it. I was like, this is too much. I need to keep my Facebook open for my job and for, for our podcast and my YouTube and stuff. Like I have to keep it open just because I have a lot of stuff like attached to it, but like I'm not interested in going on it. And for 6 months I did not. I was impressed.
Yeah, that is very impressive. I don't think I've ever taken a detox from social media like that. I guess at most my detox will be like, I'm not going to check my phone for an hour or two. You know, 30 minutes.
Dang, Lamont, you okay?
I'm gonna be in the moment, like watch whatever I'm watching, eat whatever I'm eating, and that's good enough for me. Like, and if that's good enough for you, that's great. If you need more time, like you need 6 months, take it. Take whatever you need. You're in control.
I think another thing is not making it readily, like if you struggle with going on social media like way too much, like you're consciously aware, like, okay, I need to like cut this down. One of the things that I do is I have actually moved the app shortcuts off my homepage, and I just keep it in, like, you know how you have the like little apps section, but then you have a homepage. I don't know if it's the same on iPhones now. I think they changed things where your homepage is now, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I don't have an iPhone. Android all the way. But I don't have shortcuts for like TikTok and Facebook. I think it's just those two, because those are very time consuming. And so when I actually want to go on those things, I have to go and seek them out through my apps list.
So you're being intentional, like doing that.
Yeah. So like, okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to go on Facebook for a little bit. Or like, okay, I want to watch some TikTok. So let me go and whatever. That has actually really helped, especially with the Facebook one. Because I was one of those people that would close the Facebook tab and open it again on my phone. Or like be scrolling on Facebook and be like, ugh, I'm bored. And then close it and then open it again. And be like, oh, Facebook. Like, that's a little too much.
And if you feel like you're having like too much time on it, like once you get in, you can always set a timer. I have a supervisor who sets a timer, and she's like, this is how much time I can be on this app, and once that timer goes off, I'm not going on it for the rest of the day. That's just boundaries that she put in her life to be more productive.
Yeah, I do that too, with TikTok especially, because if I don't, we're gonna be there for a while. But I'll set a timer for when I'm on TikTok, and I'll just make sure that I like stop, I pause, I do whatever I need to do. But yeah, let me see. I'm trying to think if there's any other ways that I have done any of this. I really do think that just being aware of like what social media is and what people post is extremely helpful. I think when people realize that, yeah, everything is curated, it's, I wouldn't say fake. A lot of people like to use the word fake. Social media is fake. It's fake. It's fake. I don't think so for the most part. Yeah. There are a few people that are posting like, just absurd stuff that is not true. But I think even these edited photos and stuff, I think they even have some validity to them, and because man, I feel like a lot of people when they talk about social media, they can get very like anti-social media, but I love social media a lot, so I want to look at the bright side of it.
Yeah, me too.
I think it can be very helpful, but I think it can also be very damaging. So I think being aware of those things can help you make better choices in terms of social media.
Yes. So let's wrap up. So, how to stop comparing yourself to people on social media. Realize that social media is not the reality. Curate your feed. Confront the comparison. And reduce the time you spend on social media.
I can agree. I think that's great. Social media can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. And ultimately, it is up to the user to determine how they want to use that tool.
You are in control. So exercise your control.
All right, if you guys have anything else that you wanted to mention about this topic, go ahead and leave it down in the comments. Send us a message on any of our social medias, which of course can be found in the description box of this episode. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this. And yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Today's life lesson is own your own magic. We are all beautiful and unique in our own ways. It is unfair to compare ourselves to one another. After all, why would you want to be exactly like someone else? As you begin to develop a healthy relationship with social media, use some of your extra time and brain power to work on loving yourself, just as you are. Stop looking for magic outside yourself, because you are it. Own your magic. And that is today's life lesson.